Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Let me begin a new discussion after discussing the experiences in public-private partnership across the country. I would like to have a brief discussion on what happened to the public-private partnership in India in last few years, and we'll try to cover the definition of public-private partnership in India, what type of process of public-private partnership was involved, and different practices of public-private partnership in varieties of projects, and at the same time we will try to also find out what are the major challenges for public-private partnership in India today. Let me begin with the definition of public-private partnership in India. As per the Department of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance, Government of India, the public-private partnership is defined as the PPP means an arrangement between a government or a statutory entity or government owned entity on one side and a private sector entity on the other for the provision of public assets and or related services for the public benefit through investments being made by and or management undertaken by the private sector entity for a specified time period, where there is a substantial risk sharing with the private sector and the private sector receives performance linked payments that conform to a specified predetermined and measurable performance standard. So, this shows that the agreement between the government or the government owned entity and the private sector is established through the public-private partnership, as we have also seen in the basic principles of public-private partnership in our earlier presentation, that without understanding and contract, public-private partnership is not really functioning. What are basically the process? There are 4 different phases of public-private partnership identified, and which is also shown in some of the reports of the Ministry of Finance, Government of India. In phase 1, which involves the strategic planning, project pre-feasibility, PPP suitability testing, and the internal clearance. This is the first phase of having the public-private partnership. The second phase is again having the feasibility, but that feasibility study is at a very large level, full level. At the same time, public-private partnership preparation and then clearance. In third phase, procurement, final approval and award, and the last phase, which is the phase 4, is the implementation and monitoring of the public-private partnership. So, the entire process of public-private partnership may be again identified as the public-private partnership identification, then public-private partnership development pipeline, and the public-private partnership operation. The public-private partnership model started in India in mid 1990s. Initial model adopted in public-private for the public-private partnership in India was build, operate, transfer model. Rao Pitampura State Highway, Madhya Pradesh was the first PPP project of 11.5 kilometer, which was awarded in 1993. Total road projects completed including national highway through this public-private partnership is 241 by March 2013, and under implementation is 348 projects. This shows that especially in the road sector, how public-private partnership model is really from the first case of public-private partnership to the finished case of around 241 projects, and to the cases which is under implementation, that is 348 projects, we can really say that especially build operate transfer model as a part of public private partnership model is really very successful. Some successful public private partnership apart from the road sector is the Terminal 3 at Indira Gandhi International Airport, New Delhi, Yamuna Expressway, Akshay Patra Foundation, Gujarat Solar Power and Gujarat Ports. PPP in airports, especially in Mumbai and Delhi, we can see here that in Mumbai, operation, management and development of Mumbai International Airport, contract between Airports Authority of India and Mumbai International Airport Private Limited in 2006, and in Delhi, the development, operation and management of Delhi International Airport, the agreement between the Airports Authority of India, the Delhi International Airport Private Limited is two important case which is in the brownfield estate infrastructure projects, because there were some airports initially, airport infrastructure initially established by the government, and these two cases are again one of the very prominent and important case to understand the public private partnership model in India. Apart from that, we can also see here the Hyderabad airport agreement for the development, construction, operation, maintenance of the Hyderabad International Airport. The concession agreement between the Government of India and the Hyderabad International Airport Limited was established in 2004 as a part of the Greenfield project. Apart from that, if we look at the state level, especially in Gujarat, which has very successful examples of public private partnership, especially in the ports, contract agreement between the Gujarat Maritime Board and a private company was established. That was the greenfield ports developed in the joint sector of build, operate, own and transfer method. It will be transferred to the state after 30 years, and Chara developed by the Sapurji Palanji Co Limited and Dahej by Sterling Biotech Limited. So, this shows that at the state level also, not only in the airport sector, but also in the port sector, we are having a successful case. In the road sector, especially in National Highway Authority of India, which has started the public private partnership model for maintenance of national highway in 2009. At a state level, in Andhra Pradesh, we find out that the part of NH7 of kilometer around 80 kilometer and Jadrechla to part of NH7 of National Highway 7 of around 80 kilometer and around 135.469 kilometer and of proposed Kotakatta bypass, this build, operate, transfer model of public private partnership was adopted in this particular project. At the same time, in Bihar, we find out that upgradation of Hajipur Muzaffarpur section of NH77 was also implemented on the basis of build, operate, transfer, that was the annuity basis. And again in Delhi, Agra section of NH2, we find out that there is a build, operate, transfer model adopted, and this shows that in the road sector especially, not only in one state, but in many states, the build, operate, transfer model is adopted as a part of public private partnership model. If one can see here the public private partnership in energy and power sector, especially the thermal power projects Cuttack is again based on the BOT model. The IL and FS engineering service in consortium with KBK group is setting up a 300 megawatt thermal power projects on build, operate, transfer basis at Guru Dihatia, Cuttack district in Odisha. The project is having the estimated cost of around 13.5 billion rupees. At the same time, in Punjab, we find out that the Mittal HPCL refinery project is again on the basis of public private partnership. The joint venture between the Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited and Mittal Energy Investment Private Limited, Singapore, Mittal Energy Investment Private Limited, a Lakshmi and Mittal group company, has started investing in this particular project. Other public private partnership projects is the Bangalore water supply projects, which is based on the build, operate, own and transfer model. Karur Bridge on BOT basis by East Coast Construction and Infrastructure Private Limited. SMS Hospital in Jaipur, Rajasthan, which has the CT scan, MRI and other high tech diagnostic facilities are being provided by the private company at very low cost. We are also having some other examples of public private partnership in the health scheme, that is Yashaswini health scheme in Karnataka, the public private partnership between Narayana Rudraila Specialty Heart Hospital, Bangalore and the Department of Cooperatives, Government of Karnataka is jointly involved in this Yashaswini health scheme in Karnataka. So, if one can see the sectoral distribution of public private partnership in India, we find out that the road is the getting the largest projects of public private partnership. Around 53% of the public private partnership till today is basically in the road sector. After the road sector, we found out the second largest important sector to attract the public private partnership is the urban development, where we find out that around 20% of the projects are in the urban development sector. After that, we also see here that tourism is again one of the major sector after ports and also after energy. But if we combine energy and ports, we find that it is still less than the road sector, and if we combine the urban development with these other sectors, then also we find out that it is still less than the total public private partnership in the road sector. So, we also we are also finding that build, operate, transfer is the most successful example of the public private partnership in the road construction sector. So, there is a sectoral imbalance in the public private partnership, which is seen in this pie diagram, and how to improve this, because we have other sectors such as education and healthcare, where the public private partnership is really negligible. Government should look that there should be a balance between the physical infrastructure projects going on, at the same time the social projects such as health and energy, where it is indeed important to find out that how to have a proper coordination between the social infrastructure development as well as the economic infrastructure, physical infrastructure developed. So, this particular percentage distribution is based on the data received from Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and that shows that public private partnership projects in India has a very physical infrastructure bias, and they are not really contributing to the social infrastructure sector. In India, one can really find out that initial public private partnership projects in early 2000 were successful because private companies finished projects within deadline. So, the most important point here is soon after the economic reform process, there were many public private partnership projects started in India, and many highways, ports, airports started working successfully today. This is just because of the contribution of the public private partnership. As we have seen in case of IGI Indira Gandhi International Airport, or in case of Hyderabad Airport, or in case of Mumbai International Airport, we are finding that these are well developed and well designed and construct airports due to the supports from the public private partnership. Again, whatever total projects we have completed in the road construction, also the projects which we have completed in the urban infrastructure sector, that is also due to the help of the public private partnership. But apart from these success story, we have varieties of challenge on the way. With the subprime crisis, the global economic slowdown, The private companies, especially the infrastructure companies, could not finish projects on time due to because expected tariff did not come. They were also investing their money in equity funds and loans outside India, and infrastructure companies now they are not in the position to raise fresh loan or equity and capital and finance because of the global slowdown. So, at the same time we do find that governments are also enabled to help these companies because many public private partnership contracts are stuck in the courts because of the corruption allegations. We do find that the non-performing assets of banks has increased in last few years, and this shows that the people or the firms which has taken the loan from the nationalized banks, also from some of the private banks, they are not in the position to return it back to the banks. So, this is a very bad indicator for the banking sector if the non-performing assets are really really not recovered. Since these non-performing assets are not recovered, so they are not really the assets for the bank, and banks are facing trouble to really finance some of the new projects. At the same time, we do find that infrastructure planning is not integrated properly. Ports that lack railway facility line, railway lines, and power plants also lack the coal supplies. So, this shows that there isn't any coordination between the infrastructure firms and the subsidiary firms and subsidiary industries and facilities which these firms can really receive, and because and due to that facilities they can really run the project successfully. At the same time, India is not having a very well developed bond market like other developed country. So, a company has no other choice except to rely on banks for the finance, and since they have to rely on banks for finance, higher interest rate for projects leading to more chances of non-performing assets are again seen. So, apart from these challenges, if we can go back and see the current challenges, we find out that we can find out that it is not so simple to have the infrastructure development going on at very high speed, because after 1991 or in recent years we have global treaties, we have more integrated economy. In such a situation, our openness is our global openness, countries' openness and integration with other countries are at a very high speed. So, a crisis started in any part of the world becomes the matter for concern for us also, and as it happened in case of financial crisis, when it has started, companies' capability to fund the projects has reduced because infrastructure firms are globally linked today. At the same time, in absence of a proper bonds market and in absence of a really having a very good banking system in terms of having the very less level of non-performing assets, banks are also reluctant to pay loan to the firms, and firms are also reluctant to take loan from the bank even if they do not have other choices to take the loan. So, they have to fully depend on the higher interest rate for the projects, and that lead to the development based further assistance from the bank. So, it is the construction based or it is the result based loan. So, if the firms are not really coming out with the result, if the projects are not on time, banks are again reluctant to further finance the project, and these infrastructure projects, as we have also seen, that infrastructure projects are not really dependent on one factor, but infrastructure projects are interdependent on varieties of social, political and economic factors. The raw material or the political unrest or labor unrest may create varieties of other problems for the physical infrastructure development projects in any country. So, India which is really facing a great sense of transformation, high level of urbanization, is also very concerned towards the recent issues of the land reform, land acquisition and infrastructure development cannot possible. Infrastructure is not, development is not possible without having the land acquisition. At the same time, the compensation package and the compensation programs offered by these firms or by the government is not really sometime suitable and sustainable for financing the families which are really losing the land. So, because the land distribution is not as good as the land distribution in other part of the world, especially the Asian countries, East Asian countries and Sri Lanka and other part of the world. So, we find it difficult that whatever policy we are making for infrastructure development, that again leads to a new type of dilemma, whether the farmers should be free from the farming for the further economic growth rate of the country, or we have to continue with the older or traditional system of farming, and we should not allow for further industrial development or infrastructure development, which is the need of this hour. So, in a very strange condition today, we find out that the public private partnership model, which requires the support from all the corner of the economy, not only from the government, but also from the public, not only from the public, but also from the political party, not only from the political party, but also from the small interest group of the society. So, the practicing public private partnership model is not really very easy today. It is true that India has practiced these some of the models from 1990, and we got success in almost in many sectors, including airports, ports and roadways, and also some sense of success in the public private partnership in health. But at the same time, the statistics by Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry do show us that there is huge infrastructure developed projects in physical sector, but we have very negligible contribution in the social infrastructure development through the public private partnership model. So, highest number of public private partnership projects are awarded in the road sector. So, India presents many successful examples of public private partnership projects, but at the same time we do have varieties of challenges on the way, and it is really hard to address those challenges today. I think this discussion gives you an exposure to what type of success we had and what type of method India has adopted in past, but at the same time with certain challenges which we have discussed now, it is very important to understand that the coming years are very difficult and challenging years for India in terms of developing infrastructure on a very efficient manner. Thank you.